Please help me welcome Jerry Danforth from Rocket Game.
Well, good morning. Wow, this is really a privilege and an honor, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here and join NATOW again at this annual conference. I would also like to introduce Cassie Wilkinson, who I know NATOW is very familiar with, as is INTA. You know, Cassie was involved with NATOW for many years. She comes from many years of gaming experience, and probably more recently as a public relations officer for the Stockbridge Muncie, which is her tribe. But she joined Rocket Gaming this past year also in October timeframe, is handling all the accounts in Wisconsin and Minnesota. But thank you, Amy, delegates of the NATOW board today, for your hard work and for this opportunity to share some thoughts about Rocket Gaming's perspective of what we do and how we tie into what we do into NATOW. A little bit about the company. Rocket Gaming was established Rocket Gaming Systems actually was established in 1996, and it's established under the Miami tribe of Oklahoma. They have, like many of the tribes do now, a business development corporation called the Miami Business Development Authority. And it's under that business development authority that Rocket Gaming is currently our products are in about 120 casinos in Indian country across the United States. 120 casinos, and I think it's 18 states. So it's grown. And just the last year alone, we've increased the number of casinos we're in by 40. So between last year and this year, 40 additional casinos. That's a pretty significant achievement. In the face where a lot of our competitors, and we're small, we're relatively a small company, about 300, just over 300 employees. A lot of our competitors are, globally in gaming businesses and much larger than what we are. And during the course of this recession, many of them have been downsizing. Last year alone, as I mentioned, our growth in the states and in the casinos themselves, we've added 27 new employees to our staff. And still today, I'm always looking and recruiting and looking for the people to join our company because we have a wide range of job opportunities. And I'll talk some more about that a little bit later. But one of the things that I wanted to mention, Chairman Stevens mentioned yesterday in his remarks about Rocket's contribution to the National Indian Gaming Association. We've done that through a unique kind of relationship with NIGA. One of our game models that we have is called the Gold Series. It's a wide area progressive game, and right now we have about just under 900 of those games deployed in the 120 gaming casinos that we're in. Well, the proceeds from that game series of Rocket's profit gets donated to NIGA. On an annual average, that sponsorship to NIGA is in the neighborhood of $700,000. And that's pretty significant. We know, and why do we do that with NIGA? Because NIGA, the role that they play in protecting the laws that govern Indian gaming and introducing policy and coordinating all the different 184 different tribes that are members of NIGA, coordinating those needs and those desires to Congress and the people who have an impact on the laws governing Indian gaming. So the role of NIGA is really a significant role. Rocket and others recognize the importance of that, and we think that sponsorship to them is money very well invested. A little bit about that game itself. It's $1 million jackpot game. And right now, we have, I think, around 870, 880 of those games deployed in 120 casinos. on an average, every 40 days, somebody in one of those 120 properties becomes a millionaire. $1 million jackpot, every 40 days, a millionaire goes home from one of those properties. It's gaining the momentum, and it's not widely known, surprisingly enough. You would think, in the state of the economy, if there's an opportunity to be a millionaire and gaming is your pastime, you would certainly want to know that. But I think that we'll have some ways to get that information out. The sponsorship and advertising and promotions is one of those. We have a similar offer that was made a year ago with NATOW. And it was an offer whereby if 6 of these Gold Series machines I just described, and then 6 standard games that we have a wide range of different kind of gaming machines, but 6 of each of those, that Rocket would share with NATOW a percentage of those profits from the 6 standard games in a similar way that we do with Dragon for that Gold Series game. Now, and what do we, why do we do that? I'm getting ahead of myself here, but I'll talk about that in just a minute. We do it because we want to have our advertising and our marketing and our products promoted through NATOW's advertising. And I'll expand on that a little bit more. But I did want to highlight that we currently have 2 of the tribes in Wisconsin. Oreilles was the first back in October of last year that actually put our games on the floor and met that criteria. And their money started accruing immediately from those 6 standard games. Menominee in December put the Gold Series on their floor, and then in March added 4 more Gold Series games plus the 6 standard games. So those monies started accruing toward the NATOW sponsorship. Ho-Chunk, we have quite a lot of games with Ho-Chunk, but we don't have any of the Gold Series there yet. And we're looking forward to, hopefully soon, having another property in Wisconsin that's generating NATOW revenue. But the list, originally that offer was made a year ago, and so we got 2.5 properties moving forward along that line, which is good. And that offer will extend again this year, because we certainly want to continue to be a sponsor for NATOW in a significant way. Let me talk a little bit about my first affiliation with NATOW. And when I was chairman of Oneida, I knew NATOW, what it did, but NATOW then seemed to me it had a golf outing each year. And I didn't know much more, and I'm kind of embarrassed to say this, I didn't know too much more about that, about what NATOW did, other than they were working with the Department of Tourism, and each year they had this golf outing. Then it was a fundraiser, and I just kind of believed that things were moving along okay. Well, part of my duties as a chairman, I also served on the Great Lakes Intertribal Council. And it was during one of those meetings where I learned that NATOW was really, this was in 2007, NATOW was really trying to restructure and give some deliberate policy to their organizational structure within NATOW. And ultimately, I and 2 other chairmen from Great Lakes offered to work with NATOW and try to see what we could do to help with what they were trying. And long story short, we finally learned, and I finally learned, I should say, what NATOW was really all about, and started connecting the dots. And in the meantime, I was appointed to the Governor's Council on Tourism in Wisconsin. So I was looking at it from a tribal chairman's perspective in one way, from a NATOW delegate in another way, and then from the Wisconsin Department of Tourism Council, the Governor's Council, from a different perspective. And all of it became pretty clear to me, pretty instantly, what NATOW had the potential to become. Because it was much more than a simple golf conference or golf fundraising event each year. Much more than that. That was the component in the grand scale of an economic cycle that was a major component of a business that brought people to our reservation. And in a way that is much more than just gaming. Gaming is an important component of that. But the people coming to our reservations and the communities in and around the reservations is our lifeblood. That's our economic base. And when I looked at the mission of what the Wisconsin Department of Tourism was, it's their mission too, to bring people into the state. To bring people into the state. It was a real easy fit. At the time, Secretary Trumbull was there. She was on board with that. Oreilles was on board with that. And I think we made significant progress between NATOW and the Department, not just Department of Tourism, Department of Administration, and the Governor's Office. It was a really strong partnership, and I can tell from the Secretary's comments yesterday that partnership and strength is growing. It is growing because of the dedication of the governor, the incumbent secretary, and the NATOW delegates. So my hat is off to you. Keep up that work. It's amazing. I was really, really happy to hear that the NATOW budget was included in this governor's budget this coming next 2 years. So well done for you NATOW delegates. I went a little further than what I was anticipating with that, but it's really where the rubber meets the road. And as I mentioned, gaming is just one part of currently I've been with Rocket Gaming now just a year. Well, that's an important part. Gaming is a very important part. You heard Chairman Stevens yesterday, 800,000 jobs directly, nationwide, through Indian gaming. Now when you look at, what part of that is in Wisconsin? A pretty significant chunk. When we look at, and that's direct employment, when we look at other indirect effects of Indian gaming, and just within our state, the businesses that grow as a result of Indian gaming, and not just Indian-owned businesses, all business. Look at our housing opportunities from what they were before gaming to what they are today. Our employment rates from what they were to what they are today. Our health care benefits from what they were to what they are today. Our education opportunities. The list goes on and on and on. And those are all underscored by the success of Indian gaming. So I just am very proud that Rocket Gaming, like I said, a rather small company, is able to do what it can do to help your initiatives, to help the state's initiatives, that underscores all these basic needs in and around, and not just in Indian country, where the effects of these benefits are clear and present in and around us right here in Sawyer County. And in every county, our counties that you go to that have Indian gaming here in Wisconsin, we see similar results. And that goes through the collaborative effort of the local businesses, the Indian-owned businesses, the tribes, the local governments, and the state government collaborating, focusing on common goals and collaborating to achieve those goals. I'm very happy to have been part of that. I'm very happy with what I'm doing now. Our company is, as I mentioned, a small company, but we deliver a premium product and we deliver premium service. And we will be very happy to come to your facilities, work with you, and I guarantee you, you will get a fair deal. So thank you very much for this opportunity. And I hope by this time next year, we see Rocket Gaming's name under the platinum sponsorship over here also. Yeah, welcome.